They didn't strut, they didn't shine, they marched. Camouflage, berets, and eyes that gave nothing away. In a city drowning in chaos, the Panzers rolled like tanks through the Bronx. But where did they come from? And why does their name still echo through the tunnels of New York? Tonight, we tell the story of the Panzers.
Like a war zone sky. Sirens hum where the children cry. Steel boots echo through the smoke and rain. Brothers move in rhythm, born from pain.
They marched like soldiers but fought like predators. Camouflage jackets, dark berets, cold, disciplined eyes. They weren't a gang that joked around or strutted for flash. They were the Panzers, and to the streets of New York, they looked like an armored tank unit rolling through the shadows. Their very name meant power, destruction, and fear. But where did they come from? And how did they carve out their place in the mythos of the warriors? 1971 to 1973. The Bronx in the early 70s was a war zone. Fires devoured entire blocks. Poverty ran deep, and gangs rose from the ashes like armies. Out of this chaos, a group of young African-American men came together. They weren't content to be just another crew with flashy jackets. They wanted discipline. They wanted fear. They wanted respect. The name Panzers came from the German word for armor. For them, it was more than war machines. It was a statement. We are untouchable. We roll forward, and nothing breaks us. Founders: Hector, ironclad. Brown, 19, the son of a Vietnam veteran who returned home broken by war. Hector took the lessons of combat stories and turned them into street survival. Curtis Steele Johnson, 18, ex-ROTC dropout. His dream of military service soured when his older brothers came home from Vietnam addicted and abandoned. Raymond Ghost Carter, 17, quiet but dangerous, an artist who first tagged Panzer across subway walls, sealing the gang's identity. Together, they forged something new. Not just a gang, but a street regiment. 1974 to 1976. The Panzers' look, camouflage jackets, berets, and dark shirts, came directly from military imagery. But unlike the Boppers' flashy purple or the Furies' theatrical paint, the Panzers wanted utility and intimidation. Their uniforms made them look organized, like a paramilitary force. Philosophy: strength through unity. Fear as armor. They valued discipline over chaos. Initiation required a grueling test. New recruits had to stand against 3 veterans in a closed subway tunnel until they either collapsed or refused to yield. Loyalty was sacred. Betrayal was answered with exile, or worse. They weren't just another gang. They were training themselves for war. Their motto whispered through the Bronx: "We don't scatter, we roll forward." 1976 to 1978. Their turf was Bronx subway stations and housing blocks, strategically chosen because tunnels made them easy to defend like bunkers. Outsiders said if you wandered into Panzer territory, you were entering a war zone. Rivals the destroyers, constant clashes over Bronx corners. The Turnbull ACs, rivalries born from control of highways and tunnels. Uneasy truce with the Riffs, though the Riffs respected their discipline. Urban legends. People swore the Panzers had a hidden weapons cache. Others claimed their leaders were ex-soldiers. Their reputation was half truth, half exaggeration, and that only made them scarier. But their rigid structure also created cracks. Hector Ironclad Medina vanished in 1977, rumored killed by rivals or betrayed from within. Leadership passed to Curtis Steele Bradley, who ruled with a colder hand. (1979 to early 1980s). By the time of the Great Cyrus Summit in 1979, The Panzers marched into Van Cortlandt Park like an army platoon. Their presence was felt even if they didn't dominate the spotlight. If they had risen higher, some whispered they could have rivaled the Riffs themselves. But the summit changed everything. With Cyrus dead, chaos followed, and the rigid discipline of the Panzers couldn't hold forever. Police pressure, rival gang alliances, and rumors of betrayal fractured them in the early 80s. Some members were absorbed into smaller outfits, others disappeared. Their legacy? The Panzers became the cautionary tale of what happens when a gang tries to be an army. They left behind myths of secret arsenals and tunnels full of weapons, and a reputation of cold, unbreakable strength. They weren't the loudest, they weren't the flashiest, but when the Panzers showed up, everybody felt it. Their march echoed through the tunnels. Their eyes told stories of discipline, loyalty, and pain. They didn't fight for fame. They fought to survive, to carve their name into the walls of a city that forgot them. Some say they could have rivaled the Riffs. Others say they already did. But one thing's for sure, when the Bronx shook, the Panzers never scattered. They rolled forward, always forward. And though their time has faded into whispers, their legacy still rumbles beneath New York streets, like thunder waiting to rise again. This was the Warriors' origins, the Panzers. If you felt this story, hit that like button, comment which gang should rise next, and subscribe to Real Reels for more untold stories from the Warriors universe. Because legends never die, they just wait to roll again.